Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, AI is the buzzword of the decade, it seems. So companies are getting told to get on board or get left behind. What does all that mean for you? We'll be talking to an internationally known expert next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I remember playing around with ChatGPT like 2 years ago and just being blown away at this technology, and everybody was saying it was going to change the world. It is changing the world. I can't think of an industry that has not been affected by AI, and when you're making phone calls these days and you get those robots, you know you're talking to a computer. But many companies are not understanding how to adapt to the world of AI, and that's when they bring in a guest like my next guest. Kellye Kamp is in the studio. She's the founder of SourceKamp, AI for all. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So how did you, you have a storied background, advertising, construction, and now AI.
Yes.
So what did you draw from those other careers that help you in the world of AI?
Well, first of all, I would say communication, because I've always worked with people, lots of people, teams of people, and communication is absolute. I mean, you have to be able to share a vision, get everybody on board, get the buy-in, and then make sure that that creative process is directed well.
I love it. And advertising obviously helps you with your marketing side of your brain, construction, deadlines. I mean, Tuesday at noon doesn't mean Tuesday at
That's right.
3 o'clock. So
Right.
Give us an example of one of your favorite stories of somebody you helped.
With my AI business, one of my favorite stories is I have a client who is an owner in a franchise in another country, and they're struggling with getting their financials back in a timely manner because everything's different. The accounting practices are different, the currency is different, changing daily. So that's just been a challenge for them. And I was able to come in and first and foremost figure out what the actual problem was. And then my job is to come in and say, can AI help us with this? And if so, what tool or multiple tools do we need to use? How do we speak to that? Do we need to build something custom? Is there something already existing? So that's where a lot of companies are really just dumbfounded about what to do with generative AI is which tool, how to use it, when not to use it, which is equally important.
And in this case, you actually custom build a program for them.
Yes, sir.
Wow, you really have come a long way, because you've been in AI for 2 years now?
2 years, but in AI world, that's more like 10 years.
Wow, I'm impressed. We're going to show some video from our library of AI. Let's talk about some facts and some myths. I mean, I think the narrative that I've been hearing from the media is, oh my goodness, they're going to come, the robots are going to take our jobs.
Right.
Is AI to be feared?
Absolutely not. Generative AI is different than robotic AI or even machine learning, which machine learning is what the banks use to give us our statements every month. So AI has been in our lives for a long, long time. But generative AI is really the first time that it's brought to the public that anybody can use. And it really is just a superpower, if you will, or the world's greatest assistant to help you do what you're already doing even better. It's definitely not going to take the place of a human.
And you were telling me before the show, at the end of the day, you're a problem solver. You solve problems in
Yes.
advertising, you solve problems in construction. What's a typical problem that you solve with AI?
It depends on the problem, and you have to start there. I really don't like to introduce AI as the first step or the end-all be-all, because it really is about people and relationships and solving things that matter to them. So that's where we start. And if AI can help, it usually can. But then we have to decide, how is it going to help? what is the end goal, and then again, what tools do we need to use to get there?
Outstanding. You are a very popular guest on podcasts. We're going to show some video of you on some of these podcasts. This is actually in a place where you live, right?
It is, Southside on Lamar.
That's cool. So I get the sense that you have the heart of a teacher. Do you like to explain to people how AI doesn't have to be their foe, it can be their friend?
I do. I love teaching, especially when it comes to things like technology that are a little intimidating, because I was intimidated when I started too. So I remember that feeling, and I just want to make sure that when I'm bringing information to people, it's in a very thoughtful and easy way to take in, that it's not threatening at all.
Yeah, and people think AI is brand new. Seems like even 20 plus years ago, you called American Airlines and they said, Jeff Crilley, are you asking about your flight today?
That's right.
We've been dealing with it forever, haven't we?
For a long time, yes.
Yeah. Where do you see all this headed?
That is the million-dollar question. We don't know because it's changing so quickly right now. Literally daily, some of these platforms are changing. So I don't know where it's going to go, but I think it is going to help us do more. It's going to start taking the busy work off of our plates and allow us to do those essential things that are really important to us in our lives, work-wise and professionally.
If somebody is afraid of technology, and that describes a lot of boomers out there,
Yes.
What's the first step? I mean, should they just at least play with ChatGPT?
Yes, and it sounds so counterintuitive because we're not told to play. We're told to work hard and learn it and figure it out fast. And this is really the opposite. I think the best way to learn is just have a good time with it. Think of little issues that you want to solve in your day-to-day life, like everybody has to cook dinner every day, sometimes 3 times a day, and there's a way to use generative AI to take a photo of the inside of your refrigerator. It reads the ingredients that you have, and it will come up with a meal plan for you.
That's amazing. All right, give us another example. What are some other underutilized forms of AI?
Wow, I mean, just reading over, I think a lot of people are learning that they can read documentation very quickly now. I know that you can just upload a very long, lengthy document and have it tell you the main points. I've actually listened to presidential addresses and that can be very, very long, get the transcript of it and just say, tell me the top 10 points that could affect my personal life. And it will do that in an instant.
And even in letter writing, can you make this more conversational? Can
Of
you
course,
make
yes.
the tone different?
Yes, and some platforms are better at writing than others, but it definitely is a time saver. Now, I personally am a writer, so I don't use it that much just to write copy, but I do use it to analyze copy.
What does a perfect client look like for you? Is there an industry, or you're agnostic? You're across all industries?
Right now I'm a little agnostic, and I know that's the main thing that I tell people is this whole technology is really about a mind shift more than just a tool. And the mind shift is we don't necessarily have to be a 20-year veteran at a very particular vertical to understand that particular field. I can come in and quickly analyze just in having a one-on-one conversation with somebody. I still like the human element.
Sure.
But to have a conversation and learn about that problem in that industry, and then using generative AI, I can very quickly assess the challenge, come up with ideas that they probably have not come up with before, and then most importantly, be able to execute on that so much faster than we've been able to do in the past.
Wow. Well, this is a quick show. It's almost over. I want you to look into the camera on the left and talk to the viewer about why they might want to take a second look at AI and why they might want to bring you in to help navigate it.
Sure. Well, first of all, don't be afraid. I mean, I tell people it's like a word calculator. It's just a tool. It's not going to do anything that we don't tell it to do. So just like a calculator, it can't calculate anything if you don't put in the numbers that you're wanting it to calculate. And generative AI is exactly the same way. So don't be afraid, just go and play and try something very simple.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to end with your website, which is SourceKamp.com. The great Kellye Kamp. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.